and this morning we are celebrating Women's History Month with the story of bravery in Buffalo's earliest days.
And the woman who gave her life protecting her home in the War of 1812's burning of Buffalo. She's the only woman to die in the assault, and she's also the namesake of a proud Buffalo neighborhood. We know the neighborhood, we also know the street, but where did the name come from? Well, that dates back to the earliest days of Buffalo and this plot of land where 465 Main Street stands today.
For me personally, it's especially near and dear to my heart because my grandmother lived in Lovejoy, and so I spent a lot of time there as a child, and I never even appreciated that the name had such significance to our earliest days of the city, going back to the burning of Buffalo and Sarah Lovejoy, who's actually the only woman killed during the burning of Buffalo.
New City historian Lindsay Lauren Visser says it's a story of bravery and defiance.
And Sarah Lovejoy was very protective of her house.
Sarah and Joshua Lovejoy came to the small frontier village of Buffalo in about 1807. They made their home in what is now downtown. Then when the War of 1812 broke out, they found themselves on the front lines. The Americans burned what is now Niagara-on-the-Lake, and in retaliation, the British and their Mohawk allies came to the future Queen City with a vengeance.
So it wasn't necessarily an unsolicited attack of the city of Buffalo and Black Rock. It was a retaliatory attack.
Most of the men, including Joshua Lovejoy, went to the neighboring village of Black Rock to stand their ground. But when the assault reached Buffalo, Sarah refused to leave her house.
When they came in and tried to raid it, she fought them back. And unfortunately, she was killed in the process. And it's so unfortunate because she really just had to go across the street to Margaret St. John's house, which was spared.
In fact, there's a plaque marking the spot where Margaret St. John's house stood. Before Sarah made her stand, though, she sent her 12-year-old son Henry into the woods to hide.
Henry was a drummer boy in the War of 1812, and then he was a surveyor. And the surveyors named streets after themselves or their family.
Marge Houstrider runs the Iron Island Museum, which pays tribute to the neighborhood's proud history, a history that started with Sarah and Henry Lovejoy, who personified the fighting spirit of those early settlers.
Our city is, I think, still imbued with that resilience and that determination that those pioneers and those early citizens had coming here and staying here during a war zone and coming back and rebuilding the city. And then turning around and saying, you know what, not only are we going to rebuild, we're going to prosper. And they did it.
Yeah, along with that plaque on Main Street, there are actually two monuments and graveyards honoring the Lovejoy, Sarah Lovejoy. One is in her Lovejoy family plot at Forest Lawn, and another one at her parents' gravesite in Mumford. So
I think a lot of people have always wondered how Lovejoy got its name. And
yeah, one of the few neighborhoods named after a female. And her son, who was the surveyor.
Perfect story for Women's History Month.
There you go.
All right, let's get a check of the road.